Welcome, friends, to our Taurus full moon meditation and the reenactment of the Wesak ceremony. Wesak. What is the Wesak Festival? Well, it is the festival of the Buddha in the East, and the Buddha is the spiritual intermediary between the highest spiritual center, Shambhala, and hierarchy. The Buddha is the expression of the wisdom of God, the embodiment of the cosmic principle of light, and the indicator of the divine purpose. At the full moon of May, the Buddha embodies in himself the powerful downpouring of energy, which is the dynamic energy of the divine will. And for a very brief moment, 8 minutes to be exact, at the Taurus full moon, he makes contact and blesses hierarchy and humanity. Year by year, since he left the earth, he has come back to humanity, bringing light and blessing. And year by year, he has released this light. How does he achieve this? Well, the Buddha keeps a channel open for the light to irradiate men's minds by piercing annually through light substance to the earth. There is a critical alignment occurring at Wesak between Shambhala, the Christ, the Lord Buddha, hierarchy, and humanity. And at Wesak, the inflow of energy from Sanat Kumara, the Lord of the world, the Lord Buddha, the agent of Shambhala, and the Christ is stepped down through the triangle of the three representatives of Shambhala within hierarchy. That is, the Manu, the Christ, and the Mahachohan. And they invoke the Buddha, who in his turn is the transmitter of still higher forces and transmits the appeal to the one whose agent he is, that is Sanat Kumara, the Lord of the world in Shambhala. There is also another crucial alignment occurring between the Lord of the world, linked through the Manu, representing Shambhala, the Christ, representing hierarchy, and the Master Ah, the Lord of civilization, representing humanity. The three great planetary centers that is Shambhala, hierarchy, and humanity, are then related, and they can be brought into a close relation so that the result will be the setting up of such a potent vibration. And note that the spirit of peace will be invoked and contacted. So then, who is the spirit of peace and why is he so important? He is the spirit of equilibrium, and he is an extra-planetary being of terrific cosmic potency. Christ serves as a channel for his directed potency, as he will not descend from his high place. He is destined to bring peace eventually upon earth through the expression of goodwill, which will bring about right human relations. And what is then the effect of the energy of the forces of light and the spirit of peace? It's the illumination of the minds of men with love and light. And this precipitates upon the mental plane. The spirit of peace will vitalize the responsiveness of humanity via the influence of hierarchy to the will of God, which has for basic intent the bringing of peace on earth. The Lord Buddha, the agent of Sanat Kumara, and the embodiment of the forces of light, can then be contacted. And the Christ, the agent of the spirit of peace and the embodiment of love and will of God, can also be contacted. And through the Christ and the Buddha, humanity can now establish a close relationship with Shambhala. And what are the results of this direct alignment with Shambhala? Well, humanity will then, for the very first time, enter upon its destined task as the intelligent, loving intermediary between the higher states of planetary consciousness, the superhuman states, and the subhuman kingdoms. Thus, humanity will become eventually the planetary savior. So we have the Buddha, the embodiment of the cosmic principle of light or illumination, the agent of Sanat Kumara, the organizer of the forces of enlightenment, and the Christ, the embodiment of the cosmic principle of love. These two great streams of energy fuse, blend, release, and direct the forces of enlightenment during the 5 days of Wesak. And us, the world disciples, the initiates, and the accepted disciples, precipitate this combined energy onto the waiting world. What's the task of the Buddha? There are three. One is to facilitate the impress of the will of God or the divine plan upon the minds of men via hierarchy, by being the intermediary between Shambhala and hierarchy. So two is to keep a channel open for the light to irradiate men's minds on the mental plane by piercing annually through light substance to the earth. And thirdly, to evoke in humanity the spirit of demand, whilst holding open for them the channel whereby that demand can reach straight through to Shambhala. So the Lord Buddha, the Illumined One, on the Atmic plane, releases the forces of light via the Christ in hierarchy on the Buddhic plane, and the solar angels on the higher mental plane, impressing the divine plan on the minds of men on the lower mental plane, thus illuminating humanity to establish right human relations, stimulating them to ask for help. The task of the Buddha and the Christ at the time of the May full moon is to channel and to redirect the Shambhala force. This is why the Wesak Festival is so important. The Buddha embodied the principle of light, the one demonstrated, the one demonstrated the height of the attainment of the third divine aspect. The Christ, on the other hand, embodied the underlying energy of consciousness, that of the second aspect. And these two together present one perfect whole. Hence, the reason why both festivals, the Wesak and the Festival of the Christ in June, must be considered as one. The Lord Buddha at Wesak evokes in humanity the spirit of demand for the forces of illumination, will to good, and life. And these are precipitated on the mental plane by the new group of world servers. Humanity, thus stimulated, asks for help. And at the June full moon, the Christ then endeavors to gather unto himself all that they have of appeal, prayer, and demand, voiced or unvoiced, transmitting it into an act of spiritual intent, then to Shambhala. So then what are we to do at Wesak? Master DK tells us, I call you therefore everyone to a great service of demand and of invocation on behalf of humanity, a demand for the inflow of light upon the decision of men. I would ask you to request and expect the needed enlightenment for those who have to make decision on behalf of men everywhere. Your individual enlightenment has nothing to do with this demand. It is a selfless motive which is required here and which must lie behind your individual and group demand. There must be steadiness, selflessness, and silence, plus courage and confidence. Confidence in the strength of your own soul, confidence in the watching hierarchy, and confidence in the plan. So how to prepare for Wesak? Master DK recommends that at no matter what hour the full moon each month may fall, to endeavor to keep half an hour free. That's not a lot to ask. Half an hour, so that you can attempt to enter into my consciousness, he says. Attempt to find some time as near to the full moon period as is reasonably possible in your own particular circumstances. And this, my brother, is to be a group effort and not an individual one, as it is as a group that I shall seek to contact you. So if friends, if you don't have that much time on the day of the Wesak, there's a simple visualization that you can do. Just like a plant absorbs water, nutrients, and carbon dioxide onto itself and reaches towards the light, imagine groups of disciples gathering humanity's aspirations, people's longing for union with the divine, unrecognized yet, their desire for a better life, for right human relations, peace and harmony in the world. Then offer them to the Buddha, to hierarchy, the source of illumination and life. Stand in spiritual being, in service to the whole. And just like the plants release sugar and oxygen to nourish the other kingdoms, see the groups then radiating light into the minds of men, illuminating the mental world, stimulating men's minds to take right action towards establishing right relations with one another, and strengthening the will to good in all those who love humanity. So it's a very simple visualization that you can do very briefly if time doesn't permit. So may the blessing of the Masters rest upon you as a group and as individuals. And may the holy ones, whose pupils you seek to become, show you the light you seek, give you the strong aid of their compassion and their wisdom, until you stand where the one initiator is invoked. until you see his star shine forth. So now let's visualize the ceremony at Wesak. It's a very simple version of the Legend of Wesak by Alice Bailey. And you can use this recording, if your time permits, at the time of Wesak. High up in the foothills of the Himalayan Tibet ranges, there is a valley called the Wesak Valley, surrounded with high mountains on all sides, except towards the northeast, where there is a narrow opening in the mountain range. Up towards the northern end, there is a huge flat rock. In that valley, there are no trees or shrubs, but it's covered with grass, and the sides of the mountains covered in trees. And there, a group of beings gather, the masters of hierarchy, custodians of the logoic plan in all their grades, all taught and led by the Christ, the head of hierarchy, the master of all masters, the teacher alike of men and angels. They place themselves facing the eastern end of the valley in concentric circles according to their initiatory status. They all gather together for a great act of sacrifice for humanity. 3 beings stand in front of the flat rock, looking towards the east. The Christ in the center, the Manu, the Ray 1 master, on his right, and the Mahachohan, the Lord of Civilization, the Ray 3 master, on his left. The 3 masters face the rock upon which rests a crystal bowl of water. And they carry a bowl too. And behind that small group of masters stand the other masters with all their initiates, disciples in their various grades according to their ashram. They all stand together with their cup in their hands. A crowd gathers there, some in their physical presence, but others in their subjective inner bodies, like us right now. So find your group, join in with your soul brothers and sisters. The whole great white brotherhood stands together as one in silence, very reverently, in disciplined purity, selflessness, and utter receptivity. Only the soft movement of people taking up their symbolic positions in anticipation of the Buddha's presence can be heard. Then a focused silence descends upon the crowd. It's a still night, not a cloud in the sky, no wind, not a sound or a whisper. All of us are poised, serene, and receptive, waiting in contemplative reflection for the presence of the Buddha, who will appear shortly for a brief 8 minutes, and to bless hierarchy and humanity, transmitting the will of the Logos to us. The Christ takes his position at the apex of the triangle of masters as head of hierarchy, facing the east. See now the Lord of the world, Sanat Kumara, the Logos of our planet, Earth, also in deep meditation, receiving the energy of will from the Solar Logos and passing it on to the Buddha. The Buddha, the embodiment of the forces of light, in turn directs the forces of light and enlightenment to the Christ, the embodiment of cosmic love, the agent of the Spirit of peace, pouring onto him renewed spiritual life and light. And we will pause for 8 minutes, imagining the presence of the Buddha blessing hierarchy and the world. see now a shaft of light illuminate the crystal bowl of water. And the water, magnetized by the Buddha and the Christ, is the symbol of life, love, and light, peace on earth, goodwill to men, with healing properties to be imbued by all, renewing one's spiritual orientation towards high values of sacrifice, selflessness, and service. The Christ bends over, picks up the bowl of water, and gently pours some in the bowls of the masters, who then fill the bowls of their disciples. And they in turn distribute to the rest of the crowd, each person pouring the water of life to one another. A true symbol of the Aquarian age, the water carrier pouring the waters of life to thirsty men. And symbolically see the whole assembly, us included, turn to the rest of humanity and imaginatively fill their cups with life, strength, light, and love. And see that symbolic wave of light, power, and love being carried further from the Wesak Valley to the whole planet, enlivening it. And imagine now our planet Earth radiating out the forces of illumination, enlightenment, and wisdom. And now let's intone the powerful first and second invocations as a group soul, saying them with intensity of feeling, in unison with hierarchy on the inner planes, as we grasp their significance and believe that they embody the will of the planetary logos. Let the forces of light bring illumination to mankind. Let the spirit of peace be spread abroad. May men of goodwill everywhere meet in a spirit of cooperation. And may forgiveness on the part of all men be the keynote at this time. Let power attend the efforts of the great ones. And so let it be, and help us to do it. The second invocation, let the Lords of Liberation issue forth. Let them bring succor to the sons of men. Let the rider from the secret place come forth, and coming, save. Come forth, O mighty one. Let the souls of men awaken to the light, and may they stand with massed intent. Let the fiat of the Lord go forth. The end of woe has come. The hour of service of the saving force has now arrived. Let it be spread abroad, O mighty one. Let light and love and power and death fulfill the purpose of the coming one. The will to save is here. The love to carry forth the work is widely spread abroad. The active aid of all who know the truth is also here. Come forth, O mighty one, and blend these three. Construct a great defending wall. The rule of evil now must end. And let us close with a great invocation that Master DK gave us in 1945, and will sound a blue om after each stanza. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. And now raise your clasp hands above the head and say, and so let it be, and help us to do our part. And then bring them to your forehead and let them rest on your heart. Thank you for joining us, friends. Our gratitude for your presence, your commitment, and selfless service to humanity at this important spiritual event. We will send you the recordings, and you can use this visualization at the time of the full moon, if you so wish.